Cruise passengers lose an average of $340 a trip on items they packed and never should have brought at all, and most of them find out the hard way at ship security or at the bottom of a suitcase they never even opened. You spend weeks packing for this cruise, folding, rechecking, adding just one more thing, and you think you are being prepared. You are not. You are setting yourself up to lose space, lose money, and in some cases, lose the item completely before you even reach your cabin. I spent years working around cruise terminals and cabins, and I watched the same 13 packing mistakes wreck vacations again and again. Number 13 gets confiscated at the security scanner before you even board. Number 1 is sitting in almost every suitcase right now, and it is completely unnecessary. Stick with me, because what you bring instead of these 13 items will change how your entire cruise feels. Before we get into the list, if you are planning a cruise this year, hit subscribe here on Senior Cruise Secrets, because I break down exactly what to pack, what to skip, and what the cruise lines never put in their own packing guide. Now, let us start with the item that gets pulled at the checkpoint before you even see your cabin door. Number 13, iron and clothes steamer. Here is what most first-time cruisers do not realize. Irons and clothes steamers are banned on almost every major cruise line, and they are confiscated at the terminal the moment they show up on the scanner. A 63-year-old from Charlotte packed her travel steamer for formal night, and security pulled it aside, tagged it, and told her she could pick it up on the last day of the cruise. She spent all 7 nights wrinkled, frustrated, and without the one item she thought would save her outfits, and she did not find out until she was already standing in the security line with 100 people behind her. Why does this happen? Cruise ships are floating hotels with thousands of guests and limited fire suppression coverage in individual cabins, so anything with an open heating coil is treated as a fire risk and removed on site, no matter how small or how expensive it was. Here is what you do instead. Use the laundry and pressing service that almost every ship offers, or pack a small bottle of wrinkle release spray in your carry-on. Fold your formal wear in tissue paper before you pack it, and it comes out nearly wrinkle-free on its own, especially for dresses and dress shirts headed straight for formal night. Insider move. Roll casual clothing instead of folding it, since rolled fabric holds fewer creases over a long flight or a long car ride to the port. This one swap alone saves you the walk of shame to guest services on day 1, and it keeps your entire wardrobe looking fresh for the whole week. Number 12, heavy hardcover books. Here is the truth nobody tells you before your first cruise. A stack of hardcover books can add 10 pounds to your luggage and take up an entire section of your suitcase, and half of them end up sitting unread on the nightstand all week. A 67-year-old from Denver packed 4 hardcover novels for a 7-night cruise, and by day 3 her balcony humidity had warped the covers and swollen the pages beyond repair. She never finished a single one, and the weight cost her an overweight bag fee at the airport before the cruise even started, which meant the books cost her money twice before she ever read a page. The reason this keeps happening is simple. Cruisers pack for the vacation they imagine instead of the one they will actually have, and reading time on a cruise is far less than people expect once excursions, dinners, and shows fill up the schedule. Here is what you do instead. Bring one lightweight paperback or load an e-reader with everything you might want to read. E-readers survive humidity, take up no space, and let you switch books the moment you get bored, which matters more than most people expect on sea days. Pro tip: download your books before you leave home, since ship internet is slow and expensive, and you do not want to burn your internet minutes trying to buy a new title mid-cruise. Your back and your suitcase zipper will thank you. Number 11, hard liquor. Here is what cruise lines will not print in bold letters anywhere in your documents. Bringing hard liquor on board violates the alcohol policy of nearly every major line, and it gets confiscated and held until disembarkation day. A 70-year-old from Tampa packed a full bottle of bourbon in her checked luggage as a gift for her husband on their anniversary night. Security found it during the routine luggage scan, tagged it, and it sat in a locked room for the entire cruise while the couple paid ship prices for every drink instead, turning what was supposed to be a free anniversary toast into a nightly bar tab. The reason is straightforward. Cruise lines make a large share of their revenue from bar sales, and allowing outside hard liquor cuts directly into that, so enforcement at the terminal is strict and consistent across nearly every ship. Here is what you do instead. Check your specific cruise line policy, because most allow 1 bottle of wine or champagne per stateroom, and pack that instead if you want a private toast. Wrap it well and pack it in your carry-on rather than checked luggage, since carry-on bags typically get a lighter screening for this particular rule. If a corkage fee applies, it is still far cheaper than losing the bottle at security entirely, and you get to actually drink it on the night you planned. Number 10. Full-size first aid kit. Here is something most seniors do not expect. A bulky first aid kit with full-size bottles and metal scissors takes up valuable luggage space, and some contents get flagged during the security check depending on liquid size and sharp object rules. A 71-year-old from Phoenix packed a large family-style first aid kit with full-size bottles of antiseptic, and half of it never got used, while the sharp scissors inside got extra scrutiny at the terminal and slowed down her entire boarding process. The reason this backfires is that cruise ships already carry a fully staffed medical center for anything serious, and a bulky kit mostly duplicates what is already on board at a much higher cost if you actually need to use the ship's version instead. Here is what you do instead. Pack a small travel pouch with bandages, pain relievers, motion sickness tablets, and any prescription medication in its original labeled bottle. Keep it under the liquid limits, skip anything with a blade longer than small rounded scissors, and add a printed list of your medications and dosages in case you ever need to hand it to the ship's medical staff. This gives you everything you actually need without the extra weight, and it speeds you straight through the security line instead of slowing you down. Number 9. Excessive clothing and shoes. Here is the pattern that plays out on almost every sailing. Passengers pack for every possible weather scenario and every possible outfit combination, and they come home having worn maybe half of what they brought. A 66-year-old from Seattle packed 6 pairs of shoes and 18 outfits for a 7-night cruise, and by day 2, her cabin closet was so full she was tripping over suitcases just to reach the bathroom, and she still could not find the one shirt she actually wanted to wear. The reason this happens is fear of being underprepared, but cruise cabins are small, and laundry service exists specifically so you do not need to overpack, no matter how long the sailing is. Here is what you do instead. Build a small rotation of mix and match outfits in 2 or 3 coordinating colors. Pack 2 pairs of comfortable shoes and 1 dressier pair, and use the ship laundry or a portable laundry bag with travel detergent sheets for a midweek refresh. Rule of thumb: if you cannot picture the exact day you will wear an item, leave it home, since something else in your rotation almost always covers the same occasion. Your cabin stays open and walkable, and getting dressed each morning becomes simple instead of a daily excavation project through 3 overstuffed suitcases. Number 8. Too many electronic gadgets. Here is what most seniors do not realize until they are already on board. Cabins usually have only 2 to 4 working outlets, and every extra gadget you bring is one more thing that can get lost, damaged, or stolen in a shared space. A 69-year-old from Orlando packed a tablet, an air eater, a separate camera, a portable speaker, and 2 phones, and by the end of the cruise she could not remember which drawer held which charger, and she left an entire bag of cords behind in the cabin on disembarkation morning. The reason this becomes a problem is that cabins are simply not designed to be a home entertainment setup, and every device is competing for the same limited outlets and the same limited attention throughout a busy week of excursions and dinners. Here is what you do instead. Pick 1 or 2 devices that cover your real needs, usually a phone and maybe an e-reader, and bring a small multi-port charging block instead of a pile of separate cords. Insider move: take a photo of your cords and chargers laid out on the bed before you pack them, so if anything goes missing at the end of the trip, you know exactly what to look for. Fewer gadgets means less to track, less to lose, and less stress when you are trying to relax on your one real vacation of the year. If this is saving you from a packing mistake you almost made, tap that like button right now. It genuinely helps more cruisers find this list before their own trip. Now here comes the item that causes more onboard heartbreak than almost anything else on this entire list. Number 7. Expensive jewelry. Here is what cruise staff will quietly admit if you ask them directly. Expensive jewelry is one of the most commonly reported lost or stolen items on any ship, and cabin safes are simply not designed to ensure high-value pieces. A 72-year-old from Miami brought her mother's diamond necklace for formal night, took it off at the pool the next day, and never saw it again, and the ship's insurance policy covered only a small fraction of what it was actually worth. The safe in her cabin held it most nights, but the one afternoon it was not locked away was all it took, and there was no way to prove exactly when or where it disappeared. The reason this keeps happening is that cabins are cleaned by rotating staff, shared by 2 people most of the time, and visited by room service throughout the day, which means valuables left in the open are simply exposed for hours at a time. Here is what you do instead. Bring 1 or 2 versatile costume jewelry pieces that photograph well but cost little to lose, and leave the heirlooms in a safe deposit box at home. If you truly want to wear something special, most ships now offer photo packages with your own jewelry only for the formal night portrait, so you get the photo without the week-long risk, and the memory lasts far longer than the jewelry ever would have anyway. Number 6. Drones. Here is the rule almost nobody reads before they pack. Most major cruise lines completely prohibit passenger drones on board, and if yours is found during the security screening, it gets confiscated and held in a locked room until the final day of the cruise. A 64-year-old from San Diego brought his new drone specifically to film the private island stop, and it was pulled at the terminal before he ever got near the gangway, despite him showing the agent the manual and explaining he only planned to fly it over open water. He spent the whole cruise without it and picked up a sealed, unused box on disembarkation morning, having paid for a device he never once got to use on the trip he bought it for. The reason for the ban is straightforward. Drones present a genuine safety risk around moving ships, tenders, and crowded pool decks, and most itineraries also pass through countries with their own strict drone laws that apply the moment you step off the ship. Here is what you do instead. Use your phone camera or a small handheld gimbal for smooth video, and many ships also offer a professional photographer who can capture aerial-style shots from designated points on the ship. You get the memory without the confiscation risk and without carrying an extra fragile device through airports on both ends of your trip. Number 5. Power strip with extension cord. Here is something that catches even experienced cruisers off guard. A standard power strip with a built-in extension cord and no surge protection is banned by most cruise lines, and it gets flagged and confiscated at the security checkpoint. A 68-year-old from Atlanta packed her home power strip to charge multiple devices at once, and it was pulled during the luggage scan because it lacked surge protection, leaving her with just the 2 outlets her cabin already had for the entire week. The reason is fire safety. Cruise ships have strict electrical codes, and a non-surge protected strip with a long cord is treated as a serious hazard in a small enclosed cabin packed with flammable bedding and curtains. Here is what you do instead. Buy a cruise-approved surge-protected power strip with no additional extension cord. These are widely sold specifically for cruise travel and are allowed through security without issue almost every time. Insider move. Look for the specific wording surge-protected and non-relocatable printed right on the box, since that phrase is exactly what security agents are trained to check for. Combined with a multi-port charging block, this solves your outlet shortage completely without any confiscation risk at all. Number 4. Leg beach umbrellas or bulky sports gear. Here is what most seniors do not think about until they are already lugging it through the terminal. A full-size beach umbrella or bulky sports equipment eats an enormous amount of luggage space and often triggers an oversized baggage fee before you even reach the ship. A 65-year-old from Houston packed a large beach umbrella for the private island stop, only to find the island already provided shaded loungers and umbrellas included in the day pass, and porters at 2 separate ports charged her extra just to carry it down the gangway. The umbrella sat unused in her cabin the entire week, taking up space she needed for everything else, and she ended up shipping it home separately just to fit her souvenirs into her suitcase. The reason this backfires is that most cruise private islands and popular port beaches already supply shade structures, chairs, and basic gear as part of the experience, and the cruise line has every incentive to keep that included since it drives excursion bookings. Here is what you do instead. Pack a compact folding chair or a small pop-up sun shelter if you truly want your own setup, or simply confirm ahead of time what the island or excursion already provides before you pack anything bulky at all. You save the luggage space, you save the porter fee, and you save yourself the hassle entirely. Number 3. Disposable bottled water. Here is something that surprises almost every new cruiser. Packing a case of disposable bottled water takes up serious luggage weight and space, and many ships now restrict how much single-use plastic you can even bring on board. A 70-year-old from Dallas packed a dozen bottles of water in her checked bag to save money, and half of them were confiscated at the terminal due to the ship's plastic reduction policy, while the rest barely lasted her 2 days once the heat and the walking started. The reason this happens is that most modern ships have moved toward filtered water stations throughout public areas specifically to cut down on single-use plastic waste, and terminal staff are instructed to enforce the limit rather than make exceptions. Here's what you do instead. Bring one reusable insulated water bottle and refill it at the free filtered stations located near the buffet and pool deck. Pro tip: an insulated bottle also keeps your water cold for hours on hot port days, which a disposable bottle never manages once the sun hits it. It saves luggage weight, avoids the confiscation risk, and keeps you hydrated all week without spending a single dollar. Number 2. Coffee maker or kettle. Here is the rule that catches coffee lovers completely off guard. Personal coffee makers and electric kettles are banned on nearly every major cruise line because of the exposed heating element, and they are confiscated the moment they show up on the scanner. A 73-year-old from Phoenix packed her small travel kettle for her morning tea ritual, and it was pulled at security, leaving her without her usual routine for the entire trip and completely throwing off the quiet morning start she looked forward to every single day at home. The reason mirrors the iron and steamer rule exactly. Any device with an open heating coil is treated as a fire risk in a small enclosed cabin, no matter how gentle or small the appliance seems. Here is what you do instead. Most cabins already come with a coffee station, or you can request one from your steward, and specialty coffee and tea are almost always available at the buffet any time of day or night. If tea is your specific ritual, pack your favorite tea bags in a small bag and simply ask room service for a cup of hot water, which almost every ship will bring to your cabin at no extra charge. The magic phrase, "Could I please get a cup of hot water for tea with breakfast?" works on nearly every ship in the world. Number 1. Beach towels. Here is the one nearly every single passenger gets wrong. Packing your own beach towels adds bulk and weight to your luggage for something the ship already provides in unlimited supply. A 66-year-old from Portland packed 4 full-size beach towels for pool days and port stops, filling almost a quarter of her suitcase, only to discover the pool deck had a towel station with fresh towels available all day using her room key, no questions asked, and no extra charge involved. Her own towels sat folded in a drawer the entire week, untouched, taking up space that could have held an extra pair of shoes or a second swimsuit instead. The reason this keeps happening is that new cruisers assume the ship works like a hotel where you bring your own gear, when in reality, cruise lines want you using their towels so they can track and reuse them efficiently across every cabin on board. Here is what you do instead. Use the ship's towel station for pool and sundeck days. And if you are heading to a port beach where towels are not guaranteed, pack one lightweight, quick dry travel towel instead of several bulky ones. Rule of thumb: if the ship already gives it to you for free, you almost never need to pack it yourself. That single swap alone can free up more suitcase space than any other item on this entire list. So there you have it, the 13 items that quietly wreck cruise packing every single year, and the simple swaps that solve every one of them without costing you comfort or convenience. Notice the pattern running through almost this entire list. Anything with an open heating element gets confiscated at security, and almost anything bulky is already provided on board for free. Pack light, pack smart, and trust that the ship already has more covered than you think. If this list just saved you from checking a bag full of things you were about to lose at the terminal, do me a favor and subscribe to Senior Cruise Secrets, because next week I am covering the opposite side of this topic, the items almost nobody packs that experienced cruisers never sail without. Drop a comment below with the item on this list that surprised you the most. I read every single one, and it helps me know exactly what to cover next. Safe travels, pack smart, and I will see you on the next one.